Here's how a photo album created by a serial killer ended up for sale on Facebook Marketplace. I saw this unusual listing out of Beaverton with the title Murder Memorabilia, and I was intrigued, so I reached out to the seller. That's how I met Wayne Wolf, son of convicted serial killer Edward Wayne Edwards. Ed Edwards confessed to 5 murders spanning 1977 to 1996, but he was suspected in more, including an infamous Lover's Lane double murder that happened here in Portland in 1960. This leather photo album was made by Ed Edwards around 1956 when he was in Deer Lodge State Prison in Montana. He had been traveling around the Northwest holding up gas stations and stores with his young, pregnant wife when he was arrested and convicted of armed robbery. Ed Wayne Jr., that's Wayne today, was born while his dad was locked up.
He gave this to my mom when she told him that she was divorcing him, and he told her to fill it full of pictures of me because he was going to get out of prison and he was going to kill me.
And that's not just a story that Wayne heard from his mom, by the way. Ed Edwards published a book about his life in 1972 called The Metamorphosis of a Criminal. And in it, he talks about how, after he got out of prison, he stalked his ex-wife outside of her home in Idaho with a gun, intent on killing her. In Portland, I convinced myself that I wanted to kill Jeanette, a thought I just couldn't turn off. And then, after actually seeing her and the boy, I had my doubts. I decided I would return to Idaho Falls some other time and at least maul her face enough that people would throw peanuts if she happened to be at a zoo. The book is wild because for the bulk of it, Ed goes into great detail about all the crimes he committed without a trace of remorse for the women he abused or the people that he robbed. And then in the final chapters, he claims to have had a change of heart and decided to go straight and turn his life around. And he used this book to go around giving lectures at schools and churches and police academies about how the system works, which we know was a lie, because when Ed was an elderly man, DNA tied him to a double murder of a young couple in Wisconsin from 1980. Ed soon confessed to another sweetheart double murder in Ohio from 1977. And finally, he confessed to killing his own foster son in 1996 for the insurance money. Ed got the death penalty in 2011, but he died of natural causes before it could be carried out. Now, Wayne didn't know anything about his biological father growing up, except that he was a bank robber and a bad guy. Wayne's son, Brandon, took a DNA test a few years ago, and that's how they learned about their connection to Ed Edwards. That discovery was the basis for a 2018 true crime series called It Was Him, The Many Murders of Ed Edwards. In the series, a retired police detective argues that Ed was responsible for a number of sensational murders across the country, including the claim that Ed was actually the Zodiac killer. That might be a little far-fetched, but what really intrigued me was Ed's connection to the 1960 murders of Larry Payton and Beverly Allen, both 19, who were brutally murdered along a road in Portland's Forest Park. Larry's body was found in his car with 23 stab wounds and a crushed skull. A bullet had been fired inside his car through the window, and police suspected that Larry, who was known to carry a gun, had fired a shot at the killer. His girlfriend Beverly's body was found 6 weeks later in a ravine off Highway 26. She had been raped and strangled. At the time this happened, Ed was living in Portland. It was right around the time he drove to Idaho thinking about killing his ex-wife. Ed writes in his book that after his wife divorced him, quote, violent feelings began to overtake me. Ed was even hanging around the crime scene after the murders and questioned by police, who noticed that he had a bullet wound in his left arm. About a week after the murders, police arrested Ed on a separate charge of setting off fire alarms, and he was being held at the Portland jail when he escaped. He had a friend call the jail, posing as his probation officer, who cleared him for release, and they let him go. And then Ed is on the lam. He's placed on the FBI's 10 most wanted list. He gets arrested in Atlanta on January 20th, 1962. He's sentenced on the armed robberies, but he never faces charges in the Payton Allen killings. 8 years after the murders, Portland police charged 3 other men with the crime. 2 of them were convicted, sentenced to life plus 25 years, but they both got out within a few years. Phil Stanford wrote a whole book on this called The Payton Allen Files, and he concludes police got the wrong guys. Ed Edwards was the killer. Now back to today, Wayne Wolf's leather photo album. The reason he's trying to sell it now is that finances are tough. He's facing eviction. He had a self-published book come out, but he didn't sell that many copies. So now he's hoping that he can find somebody who wants to buy this photo album. He has it listed at $40,000, but who knows what something like that is worth. So he's willing to entertain offers or any other kind of bids. And if you're interested, you can find his listing on Facebook.